everyone, it's Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. So today I am here to do the mid-year book freakout tag, and it's really sad because I've been on YouTube for a couple of years now and I have yet to do this tag, and this is probably top 3 tags that people do every year. Let's just jump right in. First question, best book you've read so far in 2021. My favorite classic that I read this year that was new to me was North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. This is my first Elizabeth Gaskell novel, and I fell in love with this so much. People advertise it, or I've seen people call it Pride and Prejudice of the Victorian era, and I can kind of see that. Just fell in love with these characters, and the themes and issues she talks about in this book are done so well. And as soon as I finished this, I immediately wanted to start over and read it again. I still want to reread this book. So please go check this out. This book made me want to read all of her other work. Hands down, fantastic. And then the second book I'm going to pick is Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb. This is the third book in the Live Ship Traders trilogy. Honestly, it was really hard for me to pick between the 3. I wish I could just say the trilogy as a whole. But I picked this one because I feel like, without giving any spoilers, the stories and threads that Robin Hobb wove throughout books 1 and 2 came together so nicely in this book. I love her writing style. I've fallen in love with Robin Hobb this year, and I know some people say this book can be a little slow, or her books can be a little slow and meandering. I don't mind that, because to me, I just enjoy this world and her writing so much that I just want to read every word, and I savor every word. And I was so satisfied with this ending, and I binged this book maybe in a week-ish. I can't remember. But I will say I'm the worst at finishing series, like, ever. And I had no trouble wanting to pick up the next book in this series and plow through it because I wanted to know what happened. The characters are fantastic. The writing is fantastic. The imagery is amazing. And it's just so good. To quote Alan, it's so good. Please go read it. Number 2 is best sequel you've read so far in 2021. Once again, I'm going to go with Robin Hobb. So this is Royal Assassin. This is the second book in the Farseer trilogy, which is the trilogy that comes before Live Ship. Oh my gosh. So Assassin's Apprentice is the book before this, and I enjoyed it, but I thought it was a little slow, and I gave it 4 stars. I think it's the weakest of all the books I've read by her. This sequel is so strong. Like, normally trilogies have middle book syndrome, where the middle book just suffers and it's not quite as good, but this one I feel like was better than the first and the third book. This is such a strong sequel, and my emotions went through the ringer on this one. It's just fantastic. I just think this is such a wonderfully done sequel. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and it's amazing. Another sequel that was fantastic was Jade War by Fonda Lee. Jade City was fantastic. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I just loved it. I love Fonda Lee's writing and her character work and how she can make this world so gritty but keep you so hooked. And the characters are so gray, and it's fantastic. This book, I could not put down. I went through the ringer, emotion-wise, through it, and then at the end, I just had to sit there and contemplate what I was going to do with the rest of my life. I'm so excited for Jade Legacy. But this was also a phenomenal sequel and another book that does not suffer from middle book syndrome. Number 3, new release you haven't read yet but want to. Master of Gin by P. Jelly Clark. You guys, I read the short story A Dead Gin in Cairo. 5 out of 5 stars. I'm not a short story person. Usually I just think they're kind of meh. I loved it. And then last month I read his novella, The Haunting of Tramcar 015, and both of those are set in the same world as this. And it was fantastic. And I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. His writing is very atmospheric and kind of lyrical, but it's not purple prose. And it's actually quite funny, even though they're dealing with serious things. I just think the world he's created is phenomenal. And so I'm really excited to see where he goes with this one. Number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I'm really excited for the second book in the Rook and the Rose series. The first book is called The Mask of Mirrors, which we did a live show for it on Leslie's channel, and it's by M.A. Carrick, and it is fantastic. It was one of my top reads of this year. The second book is The Liar's Knot, and I think it comes out in late November, early December, and I'm already excited to reread The Mask of Mirrors so I can get to The Liar's Knot, because I think it's going to be phenomenal. Not only are the covers gorgeous, but it's kind of like ballroom politics, but it's so much more than that. And every character in that book I was attracted to at some point while reading it. I just don't have enough good things to say about it. Okay, number 5, biggest disappointment. And for me, that's going to be The Tiger's Daughter by K. Arsenal Rivera. I thought this was going to be a fantasy, and the premise of it sounded really cool. The first, maybe third of the book, I did enjoy it. I loved the description, and throughout the book, the writing is actually quite beautiful, but we got to a certain point, and then it became more of a romance instead of a fantasy. And we focused on that, even though we didn't really have enough time with the characters to connect with them, so I really didn't care. And then the chapters were so freaking long, and the format, it was written in letters between the two main characters, but it was really hard to tell which character was writing to whom. By the end, I just didn't care. I wanted the book over with. I didn't hate it. I just really thought that I would like it a lot more than I did. Number 6, biggest surprise. I'm going to go with The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. And I say biggest surprise because I liked The City We Became a lot. I gave it 4 stars. And this trilogy is so hyped. I was really afraid I wasn't going to like it as much, especially because it's written in second person, and I haven't read many books written in that point of view, so I didn't know how I would like it. From page 1, I was hooked. I was participating in the Broken Earth Trilogy slow read-along hosted by Chloe from Thistle and Verse, and I had every intention of reading what they read when they read it. No. Blew through this, absolutely loved it. Read the second book in like a day, absolutely loved it, and I had to make myself wait for the third book. The writing is fantastic. Normally, I'm not the biggest fan of apocalyptic settings, but the way Jemison writes it and the world she has created is phenomenal. I'm so glad I finally read this book, and I'm so sad that I sat on it for so long because it's a new favorite. It's 6 out of 5 stars. It's fantastic. Number 7, favorite new author, debut, or new to you. So I think it's safe to say that I'm going to go with Robin Hobb. I read Assassin's Apprentice, I think in November or December of last year. And it was good. I liked it. And I read Royal Assassin. And since I read that book, I have read at least one Robin Hobb book every month since then. I just want to read everything she's written. And I absolutely love the way she writes. I love her character work. And how she just makes the characters in the world just jump off the page. So definitely a new favorite author for me. Number 8, newest fictional crush. I'm going to have to go with Mr. Thornton from North and South. He really honestly rivals Mr. Darcy. I don't know if I could pick between them, but I absolutely love Mr. Thornton's character and his character arc. And Richard Armitage plays him in the BBC adaptation, and it's fantastic. Number 9, newest favorite character. These just keep getting harder, not easier. Number 1. The main character in the 5th season, which is all I'm going to say, because if you've read it, you know. But that character goes through so much. They're a middle-aged mom, and they're so resilient and hopeful despite everything that's being thrown at them, and their entire journey is just harrowing and fantastic. I just absolutely love this character. And I also love Althea from the Live Ship Traders trilogy. She is not some people's favorite character, but I really like her. I like her tenacity and her stubbornness, and I love that she's so determined to get what she wants, and she will do whatever is necessary to get it because she thinks it's for the best. And she is very flawed. She's a very realistic character, I think. I just like seeing strong female characters, and I think I just like her so much because I kind of relate to that. Number 10, book that made you cry. So many freaking books. Two answers yet again. So the reread that made me cry was Outlander. I love that book and that world so much. And I love the characters so much. The way that Diana Gabaldon writes just completely sucks me in. And when I start reading, everything else just goes away, and I'm completely 100% in this world. And I happy cry, I sad cry, I cry because I'm proud of something, and it's just phenomenal. The book that I read for the first time that made me cry has got to be Tigana by Guy Gabriel Kay. This book was such a nice surprise. I went in not really knowing what to expect because I've heard mixed things. The writing in this was so lovely and beautiful, and the way he writes his characters just gets you attached, and then he has a way of writing scenes that just really just twist the knife in your heart. I just sobbed at the end of this because it was so fantastic. Number 11, book that made you happy. I'm going to go with The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. It's the first book in the Wayfarers series. This was our Space Sirens book club pick for January, and it was such a pleasant surprise. It's just so wholesome, and it kind of gives me the same vibes as House in the Cerulean Sea. There were so many moments that I was just like, this is so wholesome and beautiful, and it made me want to keep reading it because it just made me smile. Even though there were things that happened in this book that were emotional, it's one of those books that when I think back on it, it makes me happy, and it makes me want to reread it because it makes me happy when I read it. Number 12, favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year. So I'm going to say Outlander. In Kate from the Literary Apothecaries Discord, we have been having watch parties for Men in Kilts on Saturday and then Outlander on Thursday. And at the time of filming this, I haven't even made it through the whole first season of Outlander, but just based on what I've seen, I loved it so much. It's really hard for me to just sit down and watch a new series, even though I know I'm going to love it. And it's really hard to only watch one episode a week, but I just think it's so well done. The music and the cinematography and the scenery and everything was just beautiful. And I just love Scotland a lot, and I love Outlander a lot. And it's just one of those adaptations that just makes me cry because it makes me happy. Number 13, favorite video you've done so far this year. I'm going to go with my Gardens of the Moon review because I think that's the one I was most nervous about, and I put more effort into doing that review because I wanted to do it right. Because of that video and because I read that, I actually met a lot of really good people, and I've been able to participate in a lot of great Malazan talks. Number 14, the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. This shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, but I got the Litjoy Crate Strange the Dreamer duology set. And I'm not gonna lie, I literally cried when I opened this because I love it. The books, they're naked hardcovers. The art is on the hardcover. And then they have silver sprayed edges. The end pages are gorgeous. They're signed. And they also have annotations from the author throughout and artwork. There's also illustrations. Stranger Dreamer is my favorite book of all time. And this set, I just looked at it for forever because they're so gorgeous. And number 15, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I want to read The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. I also plan on reading Les Miserables. That is my mid-year book freakout tag that was slightly chaotic, and I talked way too much, but I'm happy I finally did it. What was your favorite book that you read this year, or who is a new favorite author from this year? Let me know. Or if you just want to let me know you're here, but you don't have anything to add, drop a flag emoji down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.